If you're like most agents, it's mid-year and summer is on strong. It takes a little bit of a hit to your business. How do you keep going? We're going to cover that and much more. Stick around.
Welcome to Agent Rise, where we help you build a real estate career you love. Here are your hosts, Mindi Kessenich and the founder of Agent Rise, Neil Mathweg.
Welcome, Risers. It's that time once again for the Agent Rise podcast. I'm your co-host, Neil Mathweg, joined by Mindi Kessenich. And today we are going to keep you moving. Mindi, summer is on full force right now. How are you holding up there in Wisconsin with your kids home?
I have a love-hate relationship with summer because I love it. It's my favorite season. It is never too warm for me. I love the summer months. We do all the things. We're busy every single night, every day, doing something. We have to in Wisconsin because we have such few summer months that we just have to take full advantage of every day. But having my kids home from school is brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I love how you said it. You're just like an on-call Uber driver for them right now.
Yes, I'm sure there's parents out there that can relate that they feel, especially those of you that work from home, like I'm not an on-call Uber driver for you to live your best life. But that's what it feels like. And that's what they think. Like, well, you're home. You just drive me somewhere? No, I can't. I have a job. I have to pay for you to live your best life.
If it's not running the kids around, you're busy with other activities. I know in Wisconsin, we live up with summer like it's finite time because we only get 3 or 4 months of the year where it's absolutely perfect weather. And you want to live it up, right? And there's a lot of extra activities. There's extra things that are going on in your world. And we get really busy in life. And business at this time, sometime in some markets, it slows down a little bit. We get that summer lull. I know I always went on vacation during the 4th of July because it was always just really slow. And sometimes it's hard to stay focused on your business. It's hard to stay focused on your 3 pillars and doing your day blocking and doing all the things that we coach inside Agent Rise to continue to move the needle forward. And it's also, it lands right in the middle of the year too, right? So here we are mid-year and it's a great time of the year to regain some focus. And we are big believers in doing 3 goals over 12 weeks. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
And for me, for some reason, it's all of a sudden this surprise, even though I know every year my kids are going to get out of school in the beginning of June and our whole life is going to get blown up. But yet it still feels like this like surprise. And I'm like frantic, like we have no routine. And so I think the hardest part is just like sliding into summer and sticking with some sort of routine. And being okay that it's going to change a little bit. So I know for me, I try to give myself a little bit of a break and just know that my days are not going to necessarily look the same and they're not going to always look as productive. And so sometimes that just means taking off some of those things that I want to do and just removing them and being okay with that and knowing that they're not one of the glass balls. We always talk about glass balls, right? And being okay with that. Because for me, it's hard. If I have something on my calendar and it doesn't get done, it's hard for my mental status. And so you just have to let a few things go. But also finding out what that new routine is, which is where I'm at in the summer months. My kids have been out of school a couple weeks now. So, the first week is just a complete crapshoot, like whatever. Did anyone eat? Did I get any work done? I don't know. What time is it? I have no clue. And now we're a couple weeks in. I'm like, okay, we got to find some sort of routine. And for me, it used to be so easy to get my 10,000 steps in every day because every single day of the week, I would drop my kids off at school and I would go for my walk. As soon as I got home from my walk, my work day would start. My dog had been fed and walked. The kids were off to school. It was this beautiful routine that I had found myself in by the time they got out of school. And now all of a sudden, there's nothing getting me out the door in the morning. And it's like, when do I get up? When do I go for my walk? And now I don't have enough time for my walk because I've got an appointment. And so just figuring out what your new routine is and knowing and being okay that it's not going to look quite as productive likely if you have children as it does in the school year. For most of us, there's probably 8 to 12 weeks left of summer, which means it's a perfect time to restart the 12-week planner. Don't you think?
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. And that's where I think this time of year, you've got to reset, right? You've got kids are home. You've got other busy things that are going on. Your brain can be scattered. You're all over the place. And that's one of the things that I just love about having 3 goals over 12 weeks is it allows you to reset, and it allows you to focus and figure out, okay, what are the 3 things that I want to get done this summer? And I think what most agents do is, this time of year, is they just put it on cruise control, and they lose focus,
Yeah.
and it's really easy to gain focus when the kids go back to school. And that's one of the
Yes.
reasons why we always launch boot camp at that time of year as well. But I think during this season right now, I'm just such a believer in doing 3 goals over 12 weeks and really focusing on them.
And that's what's really going to help your mindset. If you're somebody like me who wants to accomplish the whole wide world, it's going to help me to refocus and be like, nope, it doesn't matter. These are the 3 things that I'm focused on getting done this summer. And as long as I'm working on those every day or every week, along with my day blocker, then I'm good. And that will help my mindset when I don't get as much accomplished in these days as I will during the school year. And that's okay, because I want to live my best life with my kids and my family. I actually just had somebody ask me if I'm doing some fun things with my kids this summer. And it actually made me stop and think, because I'm like, no, I really have nothing planned with my kids, like outside of doing family stuff in the evenings and on the weekends. But we would do that during the school year anyway. But it made me think, like, I should take a few hours off a couple days of the week and take my kids to go do something fun. And so that was a good mindset shift for me, but also, again, for my personal mental health, I also need to pick the 3. What are the 3 things that, like, all the wheels can fall off in all the other areas as long as I keep these 3 things moving for the next couple months. And then I know, just as well as Neil, I will get back to being an overachiever and a high functioning, team leader and all that stuff. But having just those 3 things, like, if I can get these 3 things done this summer, it will have been a win. And maybe one of those 3 things is scheduling time throughout the week to take some time and do some fun things with friends and family. Because at least in Wisconsin, I know some of you are blessed. And down in Florida, Neil, it's probably the opposite. Probably people like the agents listening in Florida are like, what are you talking about? I spend 10 hours in my air-conditioned office this time of year. So this podcast might only really make sense for those of us that live in the Midwest, but there's just a different feel in the summer months. So
For sure.
I think we all can refocus. Maybe this is the time of the year that you start a new 12-week planner because you do have more time in the office. So maybe you're the opposite of me and you're like hitting the ground running because nobody wants to be outside because it's 100 degrees.
That's it. And this brings up a good point here too. We've got, not only do you want to focus on having 3 goals over the next 12 weeks and do a 12-week year and have 3 goals. You also want to evaluate your routines, right? Mindy, your routines got shaken a little bit where we used to go for a walk right after you drop off the kids. That misses, right? So take a look at your routines and know that any transition that you go through in life and different seasons is transition. You're going to have a little bit of a hiccup. You're going to have a little bit of a switch cost. And so just be aware of that and keep focused on your routines. We're a big believer in day blocking, where we have certain tasks that come off of our 3-pillar plan that we then focus on each day to continue moving our business forward. And so not only having the 3 goals and doing 12-week year, I also recommend that you really focus on your day block. And what do I have to do? If I have less amount of time to work every single day, how can I take that less amount of time but be more focused and probably be more productive because you're more focused?
Yeah, and looking at what you can remove. We all have kind of some things, commitments and things like that we can remove from our calendar or be more flexible with. And then knowing, as long as you're doing the day blocker, so maybe look at your day blocker and figure out what is like the most important thing about that day blocker. What do you absolutely have to do? Because for a lot of us, our day blockers look a little bit different. Like on Wednesdays, what we're doing for our sphere, we all have some different ideas or different goals around that. But so looking at that and just making sure, like, what is something, even if I'm not doing the big thing that I would normally do, what is something that I can do for my sphere every single Wednesday, and just making that a non-negotiable. And then looking at where there are some negotiable things. I know for me, I run a team, and there's a day coming up where I would normally meet in person with my team. And I'm going to let them know, you know what, that day I just need to be flexible. And so we're going to switch our in-person meeting to a Zoom call and just be okay. I love getting together face to face with my team on a regular basis and at least 4 times a month or whatever it looks like. But the summer months are busy for me and they're super busy for them too. And so just knowing that it's going to be okay. Nobody's going to die if I just be more flexible with myself and my commitments and my team and just say, hey guys, I got to switch to Zoom because I got to cut out the drive time so that I can be a little bit more present with my kids that day. And I bet you anything, they're going to really appreciate that flexibility too. I think that it just, like you said, like it looks like what in the day. So my walk is super, super important to me. So is sleeping in some days. So like yesterday, for example, I didn't get up in time to do my walk. However, I dropped my kids off at their destinations at 6 o'clock last evening, and I went for an evening walk. And it was cooler. The sun was lower. It was absolutely beautiful out. And I was like, wow, this evening walk in the summertime might be my new routine. And so just knowing, and the reason I can move that to the evening, also, I just want to say this, is because I know that it's a habit that is established enough that I know it's going to be a non-negotiable. Don't move the habits that you're still really trying to create to the evening hours because you will just pass right over them. However, like I said,
Good,
I
very
know
good
I
point.
trust,
Yes.
I trust myself enough to be able to move that task of getting my walk in or getting my 10,000 steps in. I'm okay moving it to the evening hours and being flexible in that area because I know it's a non-negotiable for me. I'm not worried about me finding an excuse to do something else instead. So I think you have to be a little bit careful of what you're being negotiable about. So maybe moving your day blocker to the evening hours is not the right thing to do. Like maybe keeping that in the morning. So you get what I'm saying,
Yes, I got you. And I love this too because it's such a great point. And we've had, if you guys haven't already joined over on the Agent Rise community group, TJ has started a routine on that group of his morning routine, and he's getting on there at 5 a.m. and go join TJ. And I love this because this is a start of, I love this too because this is what we're talking about. These are the routines that you can kick in this time of year and you maybe have a little bit more flexibility. I think some of us talk about how our schedules get busier, but maybe in the summer you have a little bit more flexibility and it allows you to adjust your routines and step into them. The other thing that comes up so much this time of year is we have a lot of vacations, which is awesome. And I'm so excited for those that take vacations. I'm a huge believer in vacations. I don't think that vacations should be voluntary. I think they should be mandatory. I think that we all need to rest and we all need to go on vacation. And even if things are tight right now, then take a staycation. But you really need time off. And not only do we need time off during the year and vacations, but we definitely need it weekly as well. And we all know I'm a big believer in that. But to stick with vacations this time of year, I often will get agents that will wonder how to go on vacation. And Mindy, we talk about this. We've all had that vacation where we worked the entire vacation. And the only one that remembers that we worked that entire vacation other than us is our family. And the realization of that will motivate you. If it hasn't motivated you already, that will motivate you to understand that one, you need a vacation. Two, you got to have a vacation system. And three, you got to step into it and you've got to release it and be gone and turn your brain off.
This is something I am so passionate about because if you've listened, you've my story with vacations and basically just working from a different destination. And the thing that you really need to understand, because I think a lot of the country is suffering to some degree. Like I think most agents, at least I know in our market, most agents, if not every single agent, is having a worse year than last year or 2 years ago. And so I understand it. It feels counterintuitive to go on vacation, also pay somebody or hire a buyer's agent or whatever. But this is what I will tell you. There is a cost either way. There is a cost to everything. And if you are not paying somebody to cover your business while you leave, whether it looks like a showing assistant or a transaction coordinator that's willing to, maybe if they're licensed, they can throw together an amendment that may pop up or whatever it may be. If you're not paying somebody to do that, you are 100% paying in your mental health, your physical health, and in your relationships with whoever it is that you're traveling with. This was the hardest thing that I did, I think, when I'll never forget the first vacation I took where I left my computer at home. It was so scary. And you guys, it was so liberating. It's literally one of the best things that I've ever done in my business. It's also a really big, important step that you need to take if you are ever wanting to leverage your business and trust other people to help you and build your team and really trust them. It's a really important step that you need to take for yourself and for them, because it's not fair to ever hire somebody or bring somebody on or ask somebody to cover your business if you don't trust them. It's not fair to them. You're setting them up for failure. It's so liberating and important for so many reasons. And now I'm going to Florida for the next 4 days. I'm just doing a weekend trip with a girlfriend, and I have no intention of bringing my laptop. I know that I have a team behind me that if I call them like, hey guys, can you do this or can you do that? I told them if these buyers, I have some buyers that I've set up, I've talked to, we've started working together. I have not shown them a single property yet. I'm like, if you match make for them, I'm gone, and you find them a house and you show them a house, just send me a referral fee and you can take it from there. You can write the offer. That feels so amazing to do. And that's the sort of release that you have to be able to start doing in order to really, I think, go the next level of thinking about your business as abundant and not scarcity. Like, I have to hold on to these buyers because the market is tough and there's not as many transactions happening. Yeah, if you hold on to it, like, that's going to be the reality. You're only going to have these couple of buyers. So by me releasing these buyers opens me up to receive more buyers, right? It,
I love it.
it is so something I am so passionate about, and it took me a long time. So I completely understand. It is not easier. It's one of those things that's easier said than done. But this year I decided I was going to do it, and I went on vacation for 8 or 9 days, and I had nothing but my cell phone. And you know what? No one died. Houses
Yep.
don't bleed. Houses don't bleed. Nobody died. I didn't lose any clients. If anything, I was on vacation, so I picked up a few. And now here I am going on another vacation without my computer. It's a
That's
beautiful
awesome.
thing.
And I just love this so much. And it reminds me too, I want to go back to the early days. And Mindy always jokes with me that I sold real estate back in 1945. I promise it wasn't 1945, more like 2001, 2, 3, somewhere in there. But Kevin Kane was an agent in my office. And Kevin and I came up with the I scratch your back, you scratch my back plan. And what we did is we just agreed that he would take my business when I'm gone and I would take his business when he was gone. And what we did the day before I left on vacation is I went into his office with all of my folders, and I had a whole stack of folders, and these were all of my active or pending clients. And I went into his office and we went through folder by folder, and we wrote notes on the folder of where everything is at and my projection of what I think they may or may not need. And so I would just explain to Kevin where each client was, and then I put on my voicemail that I was out of town, and if you need anything immediately, call Kevin. Otherwise, I'll get back to you on a certain date. And then I did the same thing for my email. And I left town. That was it. I was done. And then I would come back and Kevin would have all of the notes of everything that ever happened with any client. And so when I would come back, I would have all these notes from Kevin and all of my business. He would advance my business every single time. And my clients all knew that I was on vacation. And you got to set it up with your clients right as well. And you got to say, hey, you know what, this next week I'm going to be on vacation and we'll take a little bit of a break from searching for homes like we've been doing. But if anything comes up, please feel free to call my team or call this person and they'll get you into a home. So you got to handle the handoff as well with all of your clients and let them know that you're on vacation. And that is a lot of extra work before you go on vacation, but it is so worth it. See, most of us don't put the energy into that extra work before we go on vacation. We're just like, we'll just deal with it if it comes up. And that is a huge mistake. So set it up right, get it set up with somebody on your team, somebody in your office, somebody that you can scratch their back when you're gone or they're gone, and you can help each other. And you want to work with somebody that is in similar place in their business as you as well. You don't want to, if your business is booming, you don't want to hand it off to a new agent that wouldn't be able to handle that. So you want to work with somebody that's used to that level of volume. So there's a lot more to go with that and a lot more that we talk about. But this vacation mode, we call it, is super, super important, and it recharges your battery. And as real estate agents, I don't know if there's another industry that needs a break like we do. And so you really need to take vacations. It's not a voluntary thing, in my opinion. It's a mandatory thing.
And you guys keep in mind that this does not have to be a trip to Europe, right? This does not have to be something super costly or even be super extended. It can just be a couple of days in the middle of the week where you do a road trip to a cabin or an Airbnb, just something to get you rested and get you. I know for me, if I don't take some breaks frequently, that I get a mind block. I get blocked. Like I can't be creative. I can't plan. I can't do anything because I'm just so stuck in my business. And so this is just anything. Like, geez, just go to the beach for a day and turn everything off. Like whatever just something small. I challenge every single one of our listeners to plan something to get out of your house, your office, your routines, and just breathe, meditate.
Amen. And send us a selfie when you do. If this episode inspired you, when you're on that beach, send us a selfie. Tell us you're there.
Yes.
This is all just such great stuff, and we hope that this inspired you today to set 3 goals and work on those 3 goals over the next 12 weeks to stay working with your day blocker and to take a vacation, take some time off, enjoy that summer. And we also want to encourage you to mark the calendar for August 25th. We are going to get back in the room from the Agent Rise Summit. So if you attended the Agent Rise Summit, you are invited to this. And if you missed out on the Agent Rise Summit, it's not too late. You can still get your Summit in a Box, which is the content from the summit. And so you can get caught up, and then you can join us on August 25th as we all get back in the room, because we want to keep stepping into our new yous and developing a business that we love. And so we're going to do that again on August 25th. All the details are at agentrisecoaching.com/summit. And you can get that summit in the box and join us on August 25th. I can't wait to get everybody back in the room because, Mindy, we've talked about how awesome the summit has been. And I clearly have this runner's high problem. Like they talk about the runner's high after they run the marathon, and then they're depressed or they're down after. I'm not much of a marathon runner, but I think I've experienced the runner's high from the summit.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
And again, thank you so much for listening to the Agent Rise podcast. We hope that you have a great day. And like always, remember to be the reason somebody smiles today.
You can take the first step to building a real estate career you love right now by downloading the first 5 chapters of the Agent Rise book for free. Just go to agentrisecoaching.com/book or find the link in the show notes of this episode. agentrisecoaching.com/book to download the first 5 chapters for free.